Have you ever wondered what happens when you give a professional dominatrix a microphone? Well, you're about to find out. Let's talk about whips, chains, cuffs, oh my. Let's venture beyond 50 Shades. It's time to bow down to the host of Mischief Matters, Mistress Schari, but that's ma'am to you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mischief Matters Radio. I have to say that more clear. Mischief Matters Radio. It's so hard to say.
It's because you decided to make everything M's.
I know. I like
S's.
I like alliteration. What can I say? Anyway, we are excited to be with you tonight. Catnip is with me tonight. He's not bailing on me for a change.
Last month I bailed on you because I had work. And I decided to cover myself this week and go into work after the radio show.
Thank you. So much more helpful. No, we are really excited about tonight's show because we have a great guest tonight. She'll be joining us in a few minutes. She is, she's a good friend of ours. She comes to our manor. She comes to our parties. She comes to our events. Yep. We've become very friendly with her, and we have a great topic tonight, a fun topic, because there's something about being in the kink community, in the lifestyle itself, that just is a big, broad thing. And, you know, every once in a while, people will say, well, what kind of people get involved in kink? And inevitably, we all have the same answer. Cops, firemen, nurses, and teachers.
Yes.
And it's an odd thing.
And mental health professionals.
Well, I lump that in the nurses and teachers, really, because they could be one of the other, truthfully. But it is an odd thing that the lifestyle attracts such a disciplined type of job, usually because people want the opposite of what they do.
I was going to say, it's not even just discipline, but it's those jobs are very
stressful.
Yes, and the lifestyle lends to itself to be a stress relief.
Big time stress relief. So we're going to discuss that tonight with one of our guests. When she gets on. In the meantime, we thought this is a perfect time for us to remind everybody that you could find us at mischiefmatters.com.
Yep.
We have the Instagram. We don't use the formerly known Twitter thing.
We have the Instagram.
We just have Instagram. We're occasionally on Facebook, and we're definitely all over FetLife.
Yes.
And you can find out about our events and things at forbiddentickets.com.
Yes.
And also, if you're in northern New Jersey and you're in the area and you are part of the community, you should look us up and come to one of our events. And, we try to educate people about kink, not just through the radio show, but we bring in live people to teach classes. It's quite fun.
It is. We're a good time.
We are a good time. Plus, we get to travel. We're going to be next week visiting the North Jersey, what is it, the Next Generation?
TNG. TNG, sorry. It's the Next Generation.
NJTNG. That's a lot of letters.
Yes, but the Next Generation, so it's for people 35 and under.
Yes, and I will be teaching them mental sadism is not BS, one of my favorite classes to teach. And that'll be fun to fuck with a young crowd.
Yeah. You're good with the younger.
I am good with the younger crowd.
Children. I
am. It's because I'm older and wiser, let's face it, and I know more than they do. So by the way, it's nice to see you. Thank you for being here on my show tonight. I appreciate it, Catnip.
Okay.
Well, you did say last month, so, you know.
Because I was working.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's nice to have you here.
I only ditch you for two things.
Softball.
And work.
I know.
And
softball season is coming.
I wouldn't ditch you.
I
don't play softball on Tuesdays, so.
Okay. How many teams are you going to be on this year?
Just two.
Just two?
Yeah, it's sad.
Why don't you join a third?
I can't. I don't have time. There's no time in the week.
Got it. Okay. Well, fair enough. But hopefully you'll get when does it start? Soon, I hope?
End of April.
Oh, not soon enough.
I
okay.
know. It's sad.
For those of you out there in listeners land, when Catnip doesn't play softball, he gets a little ornery. So,
just like when Mr. Schari doesn't have the sunlight in the pool.
Right. Absolutely. And I get the pool this year.
You do get your pool back.
I can't wait to be out by the pool this summer. It's going to be so nice. Anyway, so I digress. But tonight's going to be a great show. So why we want to talk about, while we're waiting for our guests to join us, the reasons we want to talk about why cops, firemen, nurses, and teachers are profoundly found in kink is because it's completely normal, isn't it? Like, it makes perfect sense. I can't read that. I don't know why you're giving me stuff to read.
Our guest said that we can say that she's a registered nurse and educator.
Wonderful. Okay, good. We wanted to get permission for that first. Because it also lends to the credibility. Like, we didn't just ask a random friend of ours, hey, why did cops, nurses, firemen, and teacher all become kink people?
Oh, my.
Are you going to say that every time?
Yes.
Awesome. But it's really because it makes so much sense.
That should be a class.
What?
Cops, firemen, teachers.
And nurses,
oh my. In the kink scene.
In the kink scene.
Why certain professions, like, I don't know.
Well, it's not, I mean, we are kind of doing that tonight at the radio show. It's almost like a class. But really, why do you think? What's your reasoning? Why do you think?
I said, because of stress.
That's your only reason? That's all you're going to contribute?
That's all I'm going to contribute at the moment.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I think it's more like because it's not just about stress. Like, I think they're just so under the gun with stuff that to have the rituals and the meticulousness of that some BDSM calls for, and the chance to do something for someone else to make a difference, to have someone smile. I mean, when I talk to a lot of cops, I mean, most people know that, I am married to one. And one of the things is that, like, you see the worst of human nature. You don't get a lot of smiling, happy people while you're torturing them. So well, in kink, they'll smile and be happy about it.
That's true.
So, maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's part for cops, but we're not talking about cops tonight, so.
Well, no, we're not talking. We're just talking all of them.
She said she should be on any minute.
Okay, that's good. Well,
why do you? I mean, besides doing for other people and the discipline and rigidity of it, right?
Sure.
Of BDSM.
Rigid. That's a word.
Rigid. Yeah.
I know. It's an odd choice of word to use with BDSM.
Rigidity is also a word.
Sounds more like someone died and is now rigid. When you say it
rigor
like
mortis.
Well, that's why it sounds like that.
Rigor.
And that sounds a lot like rigging, which is then a cinch of rope.
Which is, also BDSM related.
Oh, I'm noticing a trend. No.
I don't know where we went with that one.
Yeah, they got a little off.
This is what happens when we're together.
True. I always I almost get why policemen and police persons and fire persons would gravitate towards kink and the lifestyle. That makes more sense to me than people in the medical profession.
See, and I think
because I feel like the people in the medical profession are supposed to keep us safe.
But they're going to keep you safe while you're playing.
But do no harm.
Yeah, unless
you consent to it. But still, they have to make that leap from in the safety of a medical field where you don't harm people on purpose, to suddenly jump in the arena to be like, I'd like to harm people on purpose.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Well, that's what we're waiting for our expert to join us so we can ask her.
Should I yell at her? It's isn't valid. What? Hashtag?
Make sure that she punches the right code in. It's a very sophisticated way that you join our calls. And, we have to make sure that it's working. So everybody just stand by because she's available. We're just trying to get her to sign on. In the meantime, I'll just continue to babble because we can't stand that dead airspace. God
no. And you're good at babbling.
I am good at babbling. I am. Maybe that's why cops, firemen, nurses, and teachers like me.
Oh my.
Oh my. No, I that's my thing. Like, I always wonder, like, people in the medical profession, how does it make sense to them? how does some of the stuff that we do, how do they wrap their head around it and be like, no, it's totally okay that I'm doing this. Like, normally I would use a catheter in my daily work, but I'm going to shove this up your penis right now because you enjoy it. Like, how do they get from A to B is what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, that one eludes me. The catheter and the penis and...
Well, penises elude you, let's be honest.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Can we discuss what you did?
I touched my first penis. Oh my God.
Your first penis like a few weeks ago.
I'm 37 years old.
You touched your first penis. How was it?
Soft.
Well, they start out that way, yeah. Sometimes they stay that way, but usually, you know, if they're young and healthy, they don't stay that way. Did this one stay that way?
I only touched it once. I didn't go back.
You touched it for, like, you didn't go back some more? No. You didn't go back to check up on it and see how it was doing? No? Did you just not care?
I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do?
I didn't know how to.
Really? Like the penis eluded you?
She keeps saying it, repeats it back to me and says it's invalid. That's weird.
That is weird.
I wonder if we can
call her?
Yeah.
We could try. I don't know how to do that, and if you disconnect us, I'll be so I'm
add a participant.
Guys, if I can interrupt here, let's go to commercial break, and I'll call her through the board, and we'll get her hooked up.
You got it. All right.
All right. Be right back, everybody.
Okay.
That's right, at 10 p.m. every second Wednesday on ArtistFirst.com. It's the worldwide internet show, the GL Henderson Radio Hour. Tune in to hear a special guest from professionals, live topics, and get a blast from the past with musical legends like Lisa. The Temptations.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
Manhattans.
Honey, you are my shining star.
Shanice. Shirley Murdoch.
And we slept the night away.
Dana Dane.
To make it interesting, it's me, Dana Dane.
Tina Marie, and more. Tune in to the GL Henderson Radio Hour, the king of relationship drama fiction. Every second Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ArtistFirst.com.
Are you in the market for kinky and not quite vanilla people to connect with, date, or even just enjoy some adult fun? Maybe you're looking for the chance to learn from experts on relationships, sex, and kink education topics. Hi, I'm Nookie Notes. And if you answered yes to those questions, I invite you to check out my site, Dating Kinky. At Dating Kinky, we provide a one-of-a-kind dating site experience. You'll find an education hub with live and on-demand classes and workshops, books, and more, and an interactive community where people from around the world can meet and engage. And coming up on the horizon, look for the premiere of our Dating Kinky app. For more details, come check out our website at datingkinky.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dating Kinky and on Instagram at Dating Kinky Official. I look forward to meeting you. Thanks, and have a kinky day.
Now with our esteemed guest, Miss J, who is a
registered nurse and educator.
And tonight we are talking about why policemen, firemen, or firepersons and police persons.
Well, specifically nurses.
And
medical professionals.
And teachers. But why people in certain professions really get into kink. And tonight we're going to hear from the nurses.
Yes.
How's that?
Sure.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Miss J, you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you. Had a little technical difficulty, but we made it. Worked out.
That's all good. Life is full of technical difficulties. Trust me, nobody knows this better than I. So, Miss J, why don't you tell all of my millions of fans, probably the 7 that are listening tonight, but tell all of my millions of fans a little bit about yourself.
So I live in New Jersey. I have been a nurse for over 20 years now, worked in the hospital field in different roles for about 30 years. And I'm currently in the process of finishing up my master's degree. I've done bedside nursing in critical care, emergency room, post-anesthesia, kind of, the sickest of the sickest populations. But I've also had a great interest in psychology. And now, hopefully, once I finish my master's, I would like to go for my nurse practitioner as well. So, yeah. So, and I'm actually in the process of possibly doing sex educator role as well. I'm trying not to do everything at once, but we'll get there eventually.
Good luck with that. You're a woman. You're going to do that anyway, honey. I got news for you.
Right. Thank you.
Take it all off.
Exactly. Yeah, we need more arms.
Absolutely. Definitely.
I was going to say, how long have you been in the kink scene and like that kind of, with your role in it?
Right. So I'm in my late 40s plus tax, and I started around age 18 with a friend who was, pretty, we were both kind of on, queer and trying to experimenting and didn't really know what we were into. And it actually started with us watching a movie, and my friend had a cigarette and was like, I want to try to get this as close as to your skin as possible without burning you. And I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, let's do that. But I actually enjoyed it, just trying not to move, staying still, following the direction. And it kind of I think that was the first time where I had some type of subspace type of feeling. But after that, started talking more, experimenting more, and kind of going back and forth. My natural, my natural state would be more of a dominant. I do like to be in control, make the rules. Even if I am submissive, I have to have a huge say in everything that's being done, or else it doesn't happen.
So you top from the bottom is what you're saying?
Yes, I would say that's the best.
All right, good. No, you can just wear it like a badge, sister. Really, seriously.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, then own it. There's nothing worse than somebody who's like, I don't tap from the bottom when they clearly do. If you do it, just own it. That's just
fun,
the thing.
Everybody has their ways of getting to whatever they need to. And this topic that you brought up and we're going to discuss today was interesting because I know multiple people. Actually, I started in the kink scene, took a little break, and then went into the swinger scene for a while. And some of the people intertwine with kink as well. And I met a ton of people, more so initially in the swinger side. A lot 100%. Of police officers, teachers, firefighters, like you said, healthcare, workers. And we would always say, what the heck is there something in the water? What's going on?
Right. Do you get a degree in a kinky? What happened?
Yeah. And I think it's looking at a bigger picture of what type of person is attracted to those fields. So these are, and I always found that people who are teachers, and to go to the more extreme end, taking somebody who's maybe in the military or a firefighter, which dealing with more high stress. We are all people who are, if you think about the pandemic, let's say, for example, we run towards the fire. We fix the problem. And with that comes a lot of welcome stress, let's say, which we can handle. But there has to be a release from that. So I think that the personality of people who go into, if you look at the commonality of all these things, it's a service-oriented fields. We are serving the communities that we're living in. We're teaching them, we're taking care of them, we're protecting them, so on and so forth. So not everybody has the capability to do that. But then when it turns to us being taken care of, sometimes due to that long time, stress that comes with just being in that role as caregiver and protectors, I think that when we're constantly in that state of stress, our cortisol levels are high chronically all the time. So that when we go to the other side where we're seeking pleasure, sometimes because it's a chronic stimulation of stress, we need something more extreme to tap into that dopamine rush that we need, which is what we get from the pleasure end of our lives. So, I've actually, it's funny. I went, I reached out to some friends, and they had some good insight. But I
remember you telling me. I'm excited to hear what they had to say. I remember when you told me that. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I'm so glad you did that.
Yes. So I do have from a few people who are officers that were more on the submissive side. For them, was truly because they are constant, and you would know this as well with a lot of your clientele, in very, very high demand, a full-on professional, control of your emotions, putting on this role in this.
A tough guy. Like, even if you're female, like, you have to be like, you're in charge, nobody can roll one over on you, you're not a pushover.
All the time.
All the time.
Right. And also, with some instances, for example, for a nurse, working with patients who are really sick, like, and an officer going to stop someone, or a firefighter going into a fire, we're also risking our lives and potentially putting ourselves in danger too. So that, over time takes a toll on us.
Right. So you think that's why some of them, like some people who are in charge in their daily life, like policemen, firemen, nurses, like, that's why they could also, like, want to have somebody else take the reins to be like, I want to be the damsel in distress today because I want someone to rescue me.
Who's going to take care of me?
What about the people who are in those professions and then take on dominant roles?
Well, because I think personality has a lot to do with it.
Well, I guess too. That, as I was saying that, I was thinking like you as a nurse, you take on the more subservient role as a nurse, obviously, in general. Even though nurses run everything.
Right.
But
well, basically, you top from the bottom all day long.
Yeah.
But honestly, But I'm always fondling the balls of the system to get what I need from my patients. That's how I look at it.
Yes. But in the kink scene, you take more of the dominant side of things. So, but that's not always true. Like, not every police officer that's more of a dominant personality type kind of job is always going to be submissive.
Right. It's not a full way to look at it, but it explains the bulk of what you're looking at. Like, it does definitely define the group as a whole. But
just
then there's
more extreme means needed to chase that dopamine, chase that pleasure, those pleasure centers. Because don't forget, we're living and our professions are in extremes. So just as there's subspace, there's dom space as well. And even though I'm working in an environment that I think I'm controlling, I work in chaos sometimes.
Right.
And even though I know exactly what to do, I don't know how it's going to turn out sometimes. So when I am in that more, dominant role for me personally, it's like I can control what's happening and I'm making the rules for, like, to protect. It's that nurturing, protective part of me that's still coming out.
Right, but then at least you get to decide how it ends.
Right.
Ruin
orgasms and all kinds of fun stuff. But, so for me, and I've dabbled in both sides. It's very difficult for me to trust, and that has nothing to do with nursing, my profession. That has to do with me as a person. So for me to, submit to somebody, it takes a tremendous amount of trust for me, because unfortunately, again, in our fields, besides personalities, we've seen the beauty of people and we've seen the extremes of what happens in humanity as well. And we're fighting to kind of find a middle ground. And to me, if I go home and do a little peck on the cheek and, a little, missionary and go to sleep, it's intimate. That's not what's going to get me where I need to go. What I need to get that feeling of elation and pure pleasure. It's a whole experience. It's not a minute. It's not 5 minutes. It's hours probably sometimes.
Right. Because you want
more to get. Yeah.
Because it takes, if you work 40 hours a week, right? Let's assume. I mean, you probably work more because with overtime and depending on what crisis comes up, like these are professions that, that's what your schedule was, but now there was an accident, so the hospital's flooded with patients, you're working longer. Like that happens, right? So the way I always looked at it too was that you're right, that it's not just going to be like a peck on the cheek and missionary to let you wash off your day and go to sleep because you've had 40 hours of all of that. And when you brought up the example of the pandemic, wow, that is, if that wasn't clear, like you would get 40 hours straight through of just nonstop chaos. Of course, you weren't going to be satisfied with 10 minutes of letdown when you come home. You need to wind down for much longer than that to rid yourself of what you worked.
And that's exactly what I did. I did work as a frontline caregiver in intensive care during the pandemic. 12 to 17 hours a day, depending on who was available. And that was probably one of the sluttiest times of my life because no one's out. I can't go anywhere. I have to release this, feeling. So I was hooking up all over the place. Like I just wanted, like you had a big cock and, I'm going to take advantage, you want to go on the floor and lick my toes, and then I use you as furniture.
There are dozens of people listening who want to know what hospital you work at now. Just so they can be a patient there.
Where do I find Jay?
Where do I find Miss Jay? What floor is she on?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
What part of
I'm all over the place
to get to her?
I'm everywhere.
I'm having such flashbacks of World According to Garth right now. You have no idea.
That's awesome. It's funny. Right? Like I had this one guy, and he was like. He was like my human dildo, basically. And, but I would have him clean my car afterwards. Like I would go to a cafe, like whatever was open at the time, like maybe 7-Eleven or something or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. I don't even remember. It was 4 years now. And then they would take my car and get it vacuumed and cleaned and stuff like that. I was like, damn, I'm like really winning here.
You're like a pro doc for a little while.
It was like, I had the world to myself while everyone else was hiding in their houses. But I went crazy. I needed that. I needed to combat the extremely abnormal amount of stress that I was having with those igniting those pleasure centers in me to cope with what was going on.
I can only imagine because I mean, Catnip will tell you I was so busy during COVID.
Yep.
Because, this is a one-on-one kind of venture. It's like, are you sick? You're not sick. I'm not sick. We can meet. And for everybody, me included, we're all taking our frustrations out. I've not been to a restaurant in 6 weeks, 6 months, a year. Like, freaking the fuck out all the time.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And
you gotta
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what people who didn't have that release were doing.
Yeah.
I mean
there's so much we can do to ourselves, but the human connection and the human touch is what's most important. And there's nothing better and deeper, in my opinion, than the connection between partners in the BDSM kink lifestyle. It's a whole other level. It's so different.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And
it's not like a forced communication. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's like,
I agree.
BDSM requires communication. It doesn't force it. And I love that. Such a huge distinction, that people don't get.
it's a big deal. Like I remember telling my one friend who is no longer in the lifestyle. She's monogamous now and very in love, but of course very jealous of when I tell her my stories, which is all cool.
Right,
like she's living vicariously now. But, so this person, my friend is in the military, and was saying, and then I was asking them, what do you feel on your end in stress is leading to, people in military and so on. So they had mentioned that, the training also is very high intensity and it never gets released for some people, like we were talking about. It's held. You have to play this role. You have to do this job. You have to keep yourself in the lines of what you need to do, operating constantly a high level of intensity. So then I think because of that high level, an extreme exposure to that again is pushing somebody on the extreme side of sexual behaviors to compensate for the energy in between the two places. I thought that was an excellent answer. Yeah, I thought that was a good answer.
So too. And you know what? It just sparked in me, like, as you were saying it, it was reminding me, I have a lot of young clientele, and a lot of them, believe it or not, are just out of the military, and they don't quite know life without the military yet. Like, it's still brand new being a civilian. So I feel like they gravitate towards BDSM because there's the protocols and the rituals and the directions and the structure.
Absolutely.
They're just not really ready to give that up yet. So BDSM becomes a very significant outlet for them. It just occurred to me, like when you were giving that answer, like I'm just like, yeah, that makes so much sense.
It's a continuation of that in a different, intimate way.
Well, it gives them some control.
Right, because it becomes a part of our identity. It's not just professions. It's not just something we're doing for a little while. It's who we are as a human being. I'm not just a woman or a person. I identify as my profession. And because it's so all-encompassing of myself as a human being. So in that event, that has ingrained in me so greatly that it crossed over into my intimacies now. And my experiences with others that,
this explains why I no longer have any friends. But,
you have lots of friends.
I know, I'm just kidding. But like being a pro-dom, it's like that starts to spill over and everywhere else in your life. You lose a few along the way. You just do. It's going to happen.
You know what? That's the journey of, humanity. We have friends for a reason and a season, and then you got the long-term people that stay no matter what, and that's fine. It's not about quantity.
And then you just have the people who are terrified of you. What?
And then you have the fungus.
Then you have fungus. Yeah. But no, I think that
all that stuff.
Right. The stuff that just grows on you like moss and won't leave you alone. Stop right.
Oh my God!
Because that's better.
Wonderful, I love it.
I knew tonight would be a fun topic, and I'm so glad that you're on and sharing it with us too. I knew it's so delightful. I have to say, one of the things that kink itself and the lifestyle just provide is that it allows me to meet and become friendly with women like you that I would never have met otherwise. And I love that. And there have been truly women that because I'm not great with women, and there have been women that I've met in this lifestyle, like you, like our friend Briska, like that I just really, and I just really am so happy to know you. Like my life is actually better because I know you. Oh, I quoted Quick Quicken for you.
Oh, here. Thank you. Oh, you love listening. Oh, thank you. That's I appreciate that. And you know what? I feel the same too. You know why? We can be our authentic selves. That's all.
True.
That's what it comes down to. You can really be your true, authentic self. Oh, I forgot what I was going to tell you earlier. There was the story. So I was telling my friend about a 4-way that I had. And
okay, this is gonna be good.
So getting back to business here. After you just told me such a beautiful thing, here I go back to being a whore again about my conversation.
No,
so,
we love it. We love it.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm going to live vicariously through you now too.
So it's funny because their past experience was that, now they're monogamous and stuff. So I was explaining it, and then they were like, "Oh, that's I'm jealous." All like joking, And I said, you know what the awesome thing is that in other interactions that I've had with people outside of kink that were like, I guess, considered quote unquote vanilla or fake ass, like, oh yeah, I read a paragraph in an article once and now I'm all into the lifestyle bullshit,
Right.
There's a lot of checking in, but it's not like lame, stupid checking in, like annoyingly, like every 2 seconds. Are you okay? Okay. Do you need anything? Like, I don't want that, But
right.
it's a sensual whisper in the ear, like, I want to do this. Like just communicating, not just, like it's so refreshing, like I really feel safe no matter what situation that I can at any second in the kink scene say, red, stop, whatever. It's going to end. I don't have to argue. I don't have to explain myself. It's done. And that makes me feel very secure in anything, in any interaction that I'm in. So I just wanted to add that.
No, I think that's brilliant because, I taught a class here at the Manor like 2-3 weeks ago, and
less than that.
Less than that. It was after where we did the Barbie movie. It was for International Women's Day, and I just remember telling people, I said, it's amazing how much effort and how much we put into our kink relationships and how seriously we take them, as we should, because they are. And we have the ability that when we're unhappy or when we don't feel safe or when something's wrong, we'll call red. But in our real vanilla world, we don't.
We don't.
Which is where most of us feel the most threatened. So I sat there and I said, oh my God, so you now should all go call red in your own lives. Like have red that kind of control. Be like, you know what? This person is toxic, red. And
exactly.
It's such a freeing. It's liberty. You can't imagine when you start to look in your vanilla world. It sounds terrible to say it, but how much you can cut loose. But when you do that, first of all, there's more room to let your kink in then, because you're not so hampered by what the vanilla people will think of you.
Right. Yeah, you can let your hair down. Exactly. Right. Yeah, you don't have to worry about judgment. Because the thing is, honestly, I believe every single person on earth at one point or another has thought about the life that we live, but it stays a fantasy. They never act on it. And I think the people that get all pissed off about it the most are the ones that like definitely can't engage because of these standards or whatever, boxes.
Right, because it's whether it's a religious norm or a family obligation, like whatever it is. Absolutely.
Right.
They're all jealous. That's just what it comes
down
to.
In the meantime, they're watching, nun and priest, porn and shit like that, secretly.
Right.
But then they're getting mad at me because I said, I had a threesome, whatever. Which is not even a big deal anymore.
Right. And so just if I can give you some advice, the next time you tell people that you had a threesome or a foursome, you should just be like, I had a foursome, na-na-na-na-na, because that's really what it is.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's like no one has ever said, I never want a great sex life, ever. Like, who has ever said that?
Wait, what?
I said, no one has ever said, I don't want a good sex life. Yeah. Everybody starts out saying, I want a great sex life.
Unless you're asexual.
But everybody starts out saying, I want a great sex life, because you don't know
asexual.
Yet. Well, you may not know that yet. Well, he's got an answer for everything. So annoying.
Because you can't generalize. Because there's so many different types of people in the world.
I guess those who partake.
So cheeky. So cheeky.
I think we should. We have some. Before we run out of time, I know we have some good.
Yeah, we have some questions.
Some great questions from the Discord. And there was one that popped up that I definitely want to get to. But
so let's do that one first.
You want to do that one first?
Yeah.
It just popped up. So it says, if you don't mind answering, do you feel like your background has resulted you in wanting to intervene in a scene that you felt would be too unsafe?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yes.
I gotta bite my tongue. I'm like, I am not the dungeon monitor. I gotta shut the hell up and keep walking. But
any good examples?
So I did see somebody doing needle play once, and they were going a little too deep where they were getting possibly close to nerve pathways in the area they were working in. So, I did kind of whisper. I was like watching, and the monitor at that event was near. And I said, does this person do this often? They're like, oh yeah, that was their partner. So that's why I didn't intervene, because I'm like, okay, they know each other. Like, this is not somebody they just met, But and then another one was, it was a public, like a con type situation, and the people were having sex, which is fine. I like a little punch on my butt and my legs. I love it. It's kind of like a massage for me. But this person was punching near the neck and vital organs, like full force hard, with their partner. Oh. Where I like literally was like clenching, like some sex furniture, like hard, like,
Yeah, I've had that experience. Yeah, that's
like, do not do that. You can punch, but not like by the liver, please. Right. Not by their spleen, it was just like, and the person was on the thinner side, so like, definitely more damage can be done. But if it's a light punch, just the tissue, the muscle, the fatty tissue, that's fine. But this was like full, hard, extreme. That again, I had to whisper. I'm like, I'm kind of concerned here, and it's like, oh no, this is what they do. I'm like, okay, I hope they're okay afterwards. But so I have to, put my nurse stuff aside. But obviously, if I saw somebody like choking somebody out and to the point, and they're trying to stop the scene, and the person's not stopping, if I'm closer to that scene than the monitor, I'm gonna jump in. Would you have felt more comfortable intervening if it was like someone you knew that was doing something like not safe? It would depend if I knew like that was their partner, or if it's somebody new, or that maybe we had a conversation before. You're like, oh, I've never done this before. It's something that I'm trying. I would give constructive criticism and ways, if they're like, try to get their attention, like, maybe that's not the safest thing to do. I know you're new at it. It really depends. Most of the people, it's a mix of experience and new, So it's, that's the other thing that I love, is that everybody's always open to like talking to each other, learning from each other, and, communicating afterwards. Like I had a scene with a friend, and she got dizzy during the scene. And she just told me, and we stopped. No big deal. Right. It's okay. But if I didn't hear it and somebody else did, and they said, she's saying she's dizzy, you don't hear her, I'm not going to get mad. I'll be like, oh, shoot, I'm sorry, because sometimes there's noise and distractions, Right. So and the reality is about the approach about it, how you say it is what matters,
I couldn't agree more. Like it's not the same, but the same. Like even when I see people using implements incorrectly, because I know better, and you don't want to interrupt the scene. I've gone up to them afterwards and said, hey, by the way, I'm just curious, is your wrist bothering you? Can I show you a different way? Like, I know why your wrist is hurting you. Can I show, so that at least I can coach them for the next time, and they'll do better, because at least I'm not interrupting their scene or humiliating them, in front of people, like things like that. But I was wondering if you ever done that, like where you go up to them afterwards.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I think we've lost your guest. Let's take
we lost Miss J. Okay.
Let's take a little commercial break, and we'll come back and
okay.
Maybe have your guest back.
Commercial break. All right. Thanks.
We'll be right back, everybody.
Okay.
That's right, at 10 p.m. every second Wednesday on ArtistFirst.com. It's the worldwide internet show, the GL Henderson Radio Hour. Tune in to hear a special guest from professionals, live topics, and get a blast from the past with musical legends like Lisa, The Temptations.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
Manhattans.
Honey, you
Shanice, Shirley Murdoch, Dana Dane.
To make it interesting, it's me, Dana Dane,
Tina Marie, and more. Tune in to the GL Henderson Radio Hour, the king of relationship drama fiction. Every second Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on artistfirst.com.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Mischief Matters Radio. We are still here with Miss J despite our technical difficulties. And so I appreciate everybody bearing with us tonight because this is too fun of a topic. And we have another great question, right? You have another good one from the Discord, right?
We do. We have one or two. One I definitely want to end with because I think it'd just be fun. But this one kind of wraps into the last one is, does your risk profile, how does your risk profile look like, and how informed is it by the fact that you are a medical professional and
That's a good question. So it's definitely changed from when I first started to the profession I'm in with the hands-on experience and seeing the effects of people playing unsafely as well. I've had a couple of situations like that I've seen. So for me, I feel confident in knowing when to stop with certain plays, for example, like breath play. I'm going to be doing a class soon as well at Mischief Matters about kind of the anatomy of where to press.
I know, we can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I have my PowerPoint.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, so,
great.
So there's so for example, knowing about the population of people I've taken care of, unprotected, penetrative, practices, electroplay, things like that. Cutting. I've seen a lot of mishaps with cutting, unfortunately.
I can only imagine.
Rough body kicking, impact. Not knowing, knowing, where to hit on the body, not to cause nerve damage, which ties in a lot to people who also, like Briska that you had on, that does rigging and, where to put the rope to make sure that injury is not. So for me, I'm always thinking about what can be the worst case scenario of this, and trying to have an emergency plan just in case, but I try not to do things in too much extremes to that point because I know the possibility of what can happen. So I'm really careful in navigating that. I try to stay away from breath play because myself personally, I have an arrhythmia with my heart that somebody was to press on my carotid areas there. I can have an arrhythmia, and that can cause harm to me. So for me to do it to someone else, I don't really know for sure what's going on with their heart or their
and not for nothing
blood flow. Yeah.
But I find that the better you are at creating the illusion that you're really doing something,
right?
If you can get good at that, that's such a safer way to play. I mean, if you could be convincing and create that illusion and that fantasy, then you don't have to press as hard and go as hard. But so the person still thinks you are. Yeah.
It's a mind fuck. That's what it all comes down to in the end. Yes, we have physical sensation, absolutely ties into it. But the organ that we're all trying to stimulate the most, that affects the whole body, is the brain, is the mind. So just saying a few words. I've had somebody I've had situations where somebody's touched me and I've been like, nah, no thanks. And I've had a situation where somebody whispered like 3 words in my ear and I'm like a puddle on the floor. So it all depends on the mental, the connection.
Delivery is also important.
Delivery, right. And emotional risk too, like for me, for example, I've done humiliation and degradation to others, but I know they want that. It's not like I'll just go around start, doing it to whoever. This is a
it's been
a situation where it's agreed upon, but I don't like it done to me. Like for me, and I don't like to be scared either. Somebody, I don't know anybody out there, somebody jumping out at me, I will punch them right in the face.
And some people like to be terrified during sex too. Like they like that. They like to be terrified. They like to be blindfolded with like, are you using a knife? Is it a sharp knife? Like they like that suspense and that thrill and that living on the edge. And there are some people that are like really like to create that for others. Yeah. And then there are some of us that are like, I'm like you. I don't really like the humiliation and the degradation, even though I can do it. I think it's sexier to elevate the people, to be like, oh my God, you kinky son of a bitch. I had no idea, like to really get into like a go you about your kink when it's appropriate.
The praise, Yeah, I have a praise, especially if somebody tells me they don't like praise. Like for some reason, the seed is planted. Like I have to tell them something nice about themselves. It's like this little torture.
Look, everything you ask any person in the lifestyle, any person in BDSM, what are the two best words in BDSM? It's good boy or good girl.
That's different than being praised.
No, there's praise.
No, but that's what I mean. Like that, you can call me a good boy and I'll be great. But like to compliment me, I'd rather die. Like I hate being complimented. Don't give me compliments.
But that's
or at least not in front of my face.
Right. That's because you have a guilt complex. But that's a whole other show. We're going to tackle that one night. One night we'll tackle what's wrong with catnip.
Yeah. Oh no. But listen, I look at it as buckets. We all have I don't know if you remember in school they told you that it was like kind of cute and a little weird, but they say everyone has buckets inside.
You got to fill the bucket. You got to fill the bucket. It was like an anti-bullying thing that they taught for kids.
Right. So almost depersonalizing it.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit older than you guys. They didn't do that. They didn't give a shit about us.
Well, I mean, they didn't.
I was on the cusp of that.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it when I was a kid. I learned about it when I was going into teaching.
I'm like, I came very much from the generation of, he hit you because he really likes you. And I get that you fell out of a tree, rub some dirt on it, and get back to the playground.
Your hair was normal. Somebody mistreating you means they like you. It's like, it was just this weird, again, it's all mindfuck in the end.
Yeah, it really, that was a real mindfuck.
Yeah, it's all, and another thing, so there's such a long list of very high risk behaviors. So yeah, I definitely go into it in my mind as how can I make this happen for this person and go as far as I can go without causing extreme harm. And if they can't agree with what I'm, trying to meet them, I won't go forward. So yeah, it definitely has an effect. Yeah, for sure.
And I love that you say that. I mean, I've said no to people, and I get paid for this, and people have asked me to do something that's really outlandish. I've just been like, no.
You say no to like 90% of my kinks, so.
Oh, shut up! That's not fair. That's not nice.
Well, no, we're like super open that she outsources my pain.
Yeah, I totally outsources pain. I love her too much, and I can't hurt her.
There's nothing that hasn't been said before.
Right. No,
and you wouldn't cut me or stab needles into my body.
No, never. I could never. I can't hurt you like that. I have to outsource it.
And that's the thing. That's when the emotion gets in under there. That's a whole, like you said, that's a whole other show too.
Yeah, I can't. I can take my clients and I could be like, oh yeah, let me do this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll try it anyway. But with catnip, I would be so afraid that I would injure her, even if I knew exactly what I was doing. There's no way. I could never. Because I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah, there's love underneath it all. That's why.
Yeah, no.
It's just different.
I do love you. What was the last question you wanted to ask before we prepare for the night?
Oh, yeah. Yes. There was two good questions, but I think this is a good one to end on. What is the weirdest thing you have ever seen or heard or witnessed that, I mean, this specifically asked about entering someone's body cavity, but I'm going to ask it more broad, like that may have been connected to sex or kink or like somebody coming into like an ER because of, sex problem.
Sex sent them to the ER.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have a few stories. I'm going to tell one first, and then I'm going to tell the one that was like, it's probably something you've never heard. So, of course, the more common things were, household items, as always. Somebody fell in a plunger in the bathroom accidentally, quote, unquote. That's very good aim, that's like eagle
right,
precision.
that's what we like to call a hole-in-one.
There's the colon in one. Yeah, and by the way, disclaimer: don't do that. Ever. So there was. We've had a couple of sounding incidents. We've had a couple of broken peni. But the thing that I have never heard again, and only heard once, there was a gentleman who had a doll kink, and we know dollification exists, and there are people who love dolls and incorporate them into play. This guy was taking Barbie head dolls, cutting all of their hair off, boiling them till they became soft, and swallowing them, and then regurgitating them on and off. But there was
oh my god, that was a Grey's Anatomy episode.
Yes, that's like a house kind of thing, right?
That was also a great. But there was an episode in Grey's Anatomy.
My God,
this guy had like 20 Barbie doll heads in his abdomen.
There was.
Yeah.
Why?
Holy shit. So this, I'm not sure, but I saw the X-ray. It's real. It's very real. And also, another person was swallowing.
But there's a psychosis behind that, though.
But these people were also incorporating into a sexual gratification as well.
Ooh.
In their world.
They took I eat Barbie literally? I don't know.
Yeah. Something like that, I would say.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was something I've never noticed and seen before. But as far as, instrumentations, I've seen a light bulb, deodorant.
I never understand the light bulb. It's fragile. Everybody knows a light bulb is fragile.
It is fragile. And the ass has a vacuum. I don't know if everybody knows that. There is a natural vacuum that pulls anything that goes into the rec. That's why a lot of these plugs and stuff are bigger than the actual. You want to ideally get one that's bigger than
with an anchor, and you want to get one with an anchor.
It's not just because it looks cute and it's got a jewel on it. It's because if you have anything, it'll just go right in there like a spaghetti down your gullet.
Right. Yeah. It's just like. Right. Yeah, your body's just going like, all right, we're going to take that and save it for later. See how we can usually
and then you end up and then you end up in the ER and we're doing X-rays and then trying to figure out how to take it out safely and
then you end up on a radio show.
There you go.
Then your story ends up on a radio show. That's what then happens.
And I love when they say they always say when people come in with these situations, and I try to be considerate of it, and keep professional. And then they always look at me and they're like, everyone in this hospital is going to know about what will happen to me, right? And I'm like, I'm not saying anything to anybody.
Right.
And don't worry.
Do you ever?
But it's just,
do you ever though when they say their reason like oh I fell on the plunger or whatever, but when it comes in and it's like sounding or something that is so clearly BDSM and they're trying any excuse to cover it up, and do you ever sometimes want to be like, dude, I'm in the lifestyle, I know exactly what the fuck this is?
I did say it once because there was one gentleman that was coming in to get catheterized constantly because he, quote unquote, couldn't pee. But every time I would send, like somebody, that he didn't, think was cute in there, and like, oh, let me try one more time. And then magically would be able to pee into a cup. So I knew there was something there. I was like, listen, bro, there's professionals. You're spending a lot more money here in this emergency room. You get like 500, bucks every time you get here. Like, come on, and it's consensual. You got some, new person in here who hates that they're doing this to you. At least get somebody who's going to kind of enjoy it a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to give you my card. You're going to keep my card in your wallet, in your pocket.
I need to keep your card, yes.
Yes, I'm going to get it. Like, this is for the patient, and then I have a therapist card for your wife. One stop shop.
Just a little slip under the sheet. Here you go. I don't want to see you around here again. Okay?
That'd be perfect. Oh, that'd be so funny. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun. Thank you. I
so
adore both
fun.
of you. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to your audience too. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. And as we say goodbye to Miss J, she is going to be teaching here at the Manor in May.
Yes.
So if you want to come and see her live, there you go. And you can find all information about us on mischiefmatters.com. and on Facebook and FetLife and Instagram. The Instagram.
Everywhere.
And Facebook. So I know I'm so lo-fi. All right. Anyway, everyone, thank you for listening, and just remember, a little mischief matters. Good night.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.